All right.
Yo.
Coming to you live from Philly. It's the number one rated Paulie Tony Fusco Show.
Yo.
As always, Paulie Fusco here with Tony Fusco and Tony.
Yo.
Huge show today. We're going to call out the NFL for their stupid decision once again, clearly proving their anti-Eagles bias with this whole scheduling fiasco they've created. And we'll tell you why the Celtics just made an absolutely bonehead move. Just threw their season down the toilet. And well, now that Pete Rose is once again eligible for the Hall of Fame, we're going to tell you why this has massive implications, bigger than your brain can possibly comprehend, you know?
Yeah, your pea brains aren't even going to be able to understand what we're going to tell you.
Yeah, exactly. And talking about not understanding, Tony, you know, we got people that come up to us on the street saying, your show is so informative and entertaining. Yeah, that's what I say to them. I say, this is not for your entertainment, okay? If you want to be informed, here you go. If you're a listener, watcher, you need to put in the work too.
Yeah.
You don't just sit there.
You owe us.
Yeah, exactly. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit the like button. You're going to hit the subscribe. And you're going to go to the Apple Podcast and you're going to leave a 5-star review. Right, Tony?
Exactly. And the next time you come up to us, I want to hear about how tired and miserable you are from all the clicking and subscribing and going to all our social media videos and liking and tagging every person you know. If your thumbs aren't red and bleeding, don't even look at us.
Don't even look in my direction.
No.
Okay? Or the rest of you is going to be bleeding. All right? Anyway, enough about that. Let's get right into a top story.
Top story.
All right, first out the gate. Just another clearly terrible decision by the NFL. The league announcing that the first game of the 2025 season will feature the Eagles hosting the Cowboys on Thursday night. And this is just laughable, isn't it, Tony?
You know, putting the Eagles in the season opener just once again exposes the league's anti-Eagles bias. We're coming off short rest. We were the last team to play last season, and now we're the first team to play this season? That's not fair. The Cowboys haven't played since January. Well, technically November, if you watched all their crappy games when they basically just stood around and let other teams score. You know, we played 3 or 4 extra months. We should have all of September off. And the game is right after Labor Day. So instead of getting a 3-day weekend, we have to work. It's downright unfair.
Unfair and un-American, Tony.
Absolutely.
Couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
And, but, you know, we do have to take a moment here to congratulate the Cowboys, don't we? You know, usually they're our rival. But we have to give them a pat on the back when we can. Isn't that right, Tony? Yeah,
you know, this is great news for the Cowboys. They will finally get to celebrate a Super Bowl win and see a banner raised. Sure, it won't be in their stadium, and the banner will say Eagles on it. But hey, this is the closest they've been in 30 years to a Super Bowl celebration. So this is a monumental step forward for the Cowboys organization.
Absolutely. Heartfelt congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Oh, by the way, you see this, Tony? Mike Tirico, that bozo?
Yeah, never
He came out and said he has a problem with people in sports talk showing their fandom for teams. And, you know, he was clearly talking about us.
Yeah,
because we hear it all the time from these morons out there who think we, you know, because we live in Philly and we wear Eagles jerseys every day and, you know, we only talk positively about the team. Yeah, that was somehow biased. What?
Hello? Of course we think they're good. They won the Super Bowl. What? You want us to say that we think the Jaguars are good? Think, people. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes zero sense.
No.
Anyway, staying in football, you know, there are these reports that the University of North Carolina banned Bill Belichick's kind of hot, but also kind of scary in that, you know, met her in a bar at 2 a.m. and took her home, and now you kind of regret it, kind of way. Girlfriend Jordon Hudson. Anyway, the university came out and they said they did not ban Jordon Hudson and that she's welcome at all football-related activities. And, well, this is clearly the right move, isn't it, Tony?
Absolutely. You know, we've seen this approach work before. Of course, I'm talking about the great documentary series from the 90s, Locker Room Cheerleaders, volumes 1 through 226.
Yep.
In every movie, a girl would go into a college football locker room and give the entire team such an important morale boost.
Yep.
I even felt inspired and really lifted watching it.
Yep.
We need to celebrate women, and the film series just showed the power of what women can do when placed in the right positions.
Yep.
I mean, by positions, I mean football operation positions, clearly.
Clearly, just so beautifully said that, Tony. And I
you.
remember seeing similar movies with the same plot lines all over TV growing up, on Showtime, Cinemax,
Yup.
and they were all labeled NC-17, and that's why we're bringing it up here, too.
Yeah, because as you know, NC stands for North Carolina, because that's where the movies were made.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
let's just move on to the NBA. Of course, the outrage after the Dallas Mavericks won the first overall pick in the draft lottery, despite having an 18% chance of winning. Now,
Yup.
this is a lot of people saying it's all rigged, fixed, and these people are just
come on.
insane crackpots, aren't they, Tony?
Do you really think something is rigged just because the whole process takes place behind closed doors with no cameras and nobody but the NBA commissioner and 2 other unidentified people, and nobody has a good explanation for how the entire process actually works? That doesn't mean it's rigged.
Yup.
I mean, did you see how the Pope got selected?
No.
So what are you going to say now? That the Pope is rigged? Try saying that to God. Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. It's just such a sad situation, the amount of doubt people have, Tony?
Yeah, it really is. What happened to just taking things at face value?
Yup.
It's so sad. Like the other day, I got a text message saying that I owed $32,000 in unpaid tolls, and they were going to impound my car and throw me in prison. I didn't think twice.
Of course
I
not.
wrote back to this unknown WhatsApp number and said, of course I'll pay. Thank you. And I immediately wired them the money.
Yup.
Imagine if I didn't pay. I'd be in prison right now, and I don't even own a car.
Truly dodged a bullet there, Tony. Good thinking by you. And
Thank you.
Oh, wait, something's coming across here. Hold on.
Oh.
All right, we have some breaking news. Hit that sounder.
Breaking news.
All right, this is a headline straight from ESPN.com. I'm reading this straight from the site. ESPN's Tim McMahon says that according to his sources, the Mavericks plan to draft Cooper Flagg and will not trade the number 1 pick.
Wow.
I did not see this coming, Tony. I'm totally blown away.
So am I. And wait, hold on. I have some breaking news about this too.
Breaking news.
According to my sources, the Dallas Mavericks are saying internally that once they draft Cooper Flagg, they will sign him to a contract. And
Wow.
then they will expect him to be one of the 12 players on their roster when next season begins.
Wow. Just great sourcing, Tony. Amazing
Hold
journey.
on. I got another one. Hit the sounder again.
Breaking news.
As we all know, there's been a lot of speculation about where Cooper Flagg is going to live while playing for the Mavericks. And my sources are saying that he will indeed be moving to Dallas.
Wow.
People were wondering, will he stay in the dorms at Duke University? Will he stay near his hometown of Newport, Maine? My sources tell me he wants to be within driving distance of the stadium instead of having to fly to home games from another city.
Wow, just amazing inside info there, Tony. And well, now to this Knicks-Celtics series. Just a total mess for Boston. Yeah, their star Jason Tatum injured his Achilles in Game 4 and then immediately went and had surgery the next day. Now, many people are saying, well, that's because his season was over anyway. But that's not what was going on. That was clearly the wrong move there, Tony, wasn't it?
The Celtics should have followed the Lakers' strategy from a few years ago. Boston should have released a deadly virus across the globe, just like the Lakers did, which would effectively shut down the league and force the NBA to move the playoffs to October or even later, when a healthy and rejuvenated Jason Tatum would be rehabbed and ready to face the Knicks in Game 5 in a large conference room at Disney World. Just a very short-sighted move by the Celtics not to do that.
Just terrific basketball and also contagion analysis there, Tony. And
thank you.
We'll do another basketball note we must address. The Buck star Giannis. What the hell his name
Giannis.
is? Anyway, he's reportedly open-minded about a trade. And Tony, when you break it down, there's really only one clear destination for him, isn't there?
Yup. The Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yup.
As we've mentioned on this show, once or twice, Anthony Edwards has openly bragged about his allegedly huge penis.
Yep.
Well, you have to assume that Giannis also has a huge penis.
Yep.
Can you imagine if there was an NBA team just stacked with players with huge penises?
Yep.
Nobody would want to guard them closely for fear of being grazed by one of those huge penises. And think about it. They're called the Timberwolves.
Yep.
Giant wood timber. It makes perfect sense.
Makes perfect sense. I couldn't agree more that, Tony.
Yeah.
It's just a perfect fit, or,
The
also
show
an imperfect.
is going downhill fast.
Are you kidding me? What are you
Are
doing?
you doing? What?
Well, I said it last week. You guys have like this almost weird obsession with talking about NBA players and their genitalia. Trust me, it's just becoming too much.
Well, too much is also what no woman's ever said about your penis.
Oh, there you go. Now shut up.
Shut up.
Yeah. And by the way, people, they keep asking, why haven't we canned you? If you people out there have ideas on how you can produce the show better, go ahead, put a comment in the YouTube. Tell us what you would
Leave
do.
a
And who
comment.
knows? We might hire you to replace that useless idiot over there.
Yeah, you never know.
There you go.
So leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment, okay? And we're not going to read them. But,
No.
we're going to tell him to read them.
Yeah, he's
And,
gonna read it.
Hopefully he'll learn something. Probably not, but anyway.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get into the big baseball Pete Rose news very soon. But first, it's time for a word from our newest advertisers, our good friends at Fresh Clean Threads. The best thing to wear is obviously an Eagles jersey. But what do you do on that one day every 2 weeks when your Eagles jersey is in the wash? Well, we've got the perfect answer for you. Fresh Clean Threads. And Tony, you've got one of their shirts on right now, don't you?
Yeah, it's beneath my Eagles jersey. But let me show you. This shirt is so fresh and so clean and so soft that I'm even actually considering wearing it on days when my Eagles jersey isn't in the wash.
I'm wearing mine too now, Tony, and I love it.
Wow.
And it's comfortable. But, I got to say, I do think it would be just slightly better if, it had a big number 5, right here.
Yeah.
And, maybe an Eagles logo here, maybe one here. We'll have to talk
we
to the
should
people.
talk to them about
we'll
that.
talk to the Fresh Clean Threads people about
Yeah.
that. But for you go now to freshcleanthreads.com and you enter the promo code Fusco15 to get 15% off everything. That's a special deal for you. I'm going to repeat it just in case you weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
You go to freshcleanthreads.com, you enter promo code Fusco15 for 15% off your entire order. And if you don't receive a discount, well, that must mean you're illiterate and you don't know how to type, okay? So go now.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back from break, and, we got to talk about this, Tony. It's a development in baseball. A lot of people saying this was surprising. They didn't see it coming. Of course, we totally saw it coming.
Of course.
Pete Rose getting reinstated by the commissioner. Now, there's a lot to break down here, so we're going to do it all right now in a new segment we call Fusco Deep Dive.
Fusco Deep Dive.
All right, the big story once again. Major League Baseball announced that Pete Rose and shoeless Joe Jackson are now being reinstated and therefore can now be eligible for Hall of Fame voting, even though they were previously banned due to gambling on the game of baseball. Now, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred, he explained the reasoning here, all right? He said that Pete Rose is dead and therefore, quote, is no longer a threat to the integrity of the game. Wow. And as much as we are fans of Pete Rose, it's not entirely true what Manfred is saying here. It's not true to say that Pete Rose is no longer a threat to the game.
Yeah,
right,
that's
Tony?
right. Not if you believe in ghosts, which we both obviously do. there's still a very good chance Pete Rose can affect the game from the afterlife.
Yep.
I mean, just last week, I was watching a Reds game, and the center fielder was going back for a catch, and the ball looked like a surefire home run. But then the ball dropped right into his glove, and there was no wind. So, the only other explanation is ghost.
Yep.
Like Pete Rose's ghost blew on the ball while it was flying midair.
I saw that. I was thinking the exact same thing. It
what
had
else
to
was
be
it
a
gonna-
ghost.
Well, hold on,
Exactly.
hold
What
on.
else was it- Are you kidding me?
This show continues to hit new lows.
I'm going to hit
Why
you.
are you
What?
talking?
No, you seriously believe that outcomes of Major League Baseball games are being affected by ghosts? Or that ghosts are even real?
I'd be very careful about what you say, bro.
Yeah, I'd watch out, bro. I see some shadow in that blurry background you got there behind you. I'd be careful.
What? That's a coat on a rack.
Hey, Ghost, if you're there and can hear me now, please kill our producer. Take him to the afterlife with you.
I gotta say, bro, that does look like some sort of underworld demon. So
it looks very ominous,
if it
bro.
murders you, that's on you.
That's on you.
Anyway, all right, just enough about that. Back to the story here. This comment by Rob Manfred about Pete Rose, it's really a game changer when you think about it. I mean, what Manfred is saying is that when someone is dead, well, they're no longer a threat. So you have to reevaluate everything about them. Isn't that right, Tony?
It makes you think about OJ.
Yep.
I mean, based on that logic, it sounds like we should now rule OJ as not guilty because he's no longer a threat to
He's
murder
no longer
people.
a threat. You have
No.
to. He's got to be.
That's even more ridiculous.
Oh
Are
my
you
God.
kidding me? That shadow back there looks a lot like OJ.
Yeah, it does. OJ, if that is you, we could really use your help right now.
Yeah.
Do what you do best. Get back in the game.
Please, OJ, murder him.
Please.
You can't prosecute in the afterlife according to Rob Manfred, so murder is legal for you.
Well, Tony, I'm looking at the monitor. I do think OJ might be moving back there. Come closer to him, OJ. Come on.
Yeah, come closer.
Where are these sound effects coming from? I'm not playing it.
Must be a ghost, bro.
Yup.
The afterlife must have audio powers greater than yours. Well, everyone has audio powers greater than yours.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
including in the afterlife.
Can we just wrap this episode so I can leave already?
Oh, so now you think you run the show. Oh, I
Yeah.
see how it works.
If you want to leave, go ahead.
Yup.
Just walk toward that shadow behind you, and you could leave for eternity.
Yep. Bye-bye. We'll see
No,
you.
wait, hold on,
See
hold
you
on,
in the
hold on,
afterlife.
wait,
where
wait,
you
no.
won't
Ghosts
be.
are really pissed
Oh, wait,
at you
what is
now,
he correcting?
bro.
What?
What is he?
Corrections.
Can you just go already? This is turning into the producer show.
Yeah,
What?
The ghosts are really pissed at you, bro. So just go.
Go.
You said the Mavericks had an 18% chance of winning the lottery.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, very slim chance there, bro.
You're missing a decimal. It was a 1.8% chance, not 18. That's why everybody thinks it's fixed.
Oh, yeah, well, you know what everybody wishes was fixed? Your mom's uterus.
Yeah, and you have 1.8% of a first grader's penis.
Oh, great
wait,
one.
wait, hold on.
What?
Still talking. What?
You said the NC in NC 17 stands for North Carolina.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, common knowledge, bro.
The NC stands for no children, as in no children under 17 admitted.
Oh, yeah, well, after the show, you're going to be admitted to the burn unit.
Actually, NC is what girls call you. No cock.
Oh, great one,
Nope, no, no.
Tony.
And by the way,
still-
it's pronounced Giannis, not Giannis. You don't pronounce the G.
Oh, yeah, well, you know what you do pronounce the G in? Ghost.
Yeah,
Watch out, buddy.
get him,
You're going to
Ghost.
die.
Yeah, you're done, bro.
Oh, but you
Now
know what
shut
you
up.
do also pronounce the G in? Tony, guest. And we got a great one coming up next week. Just booked. Super Bowl hero, Eagles legend Nick Foles will be here.
Wow,
Hey, don't forget,
huge.
you rate and review. on the Apple Podcast. You subscribe, and you visit our sponsor, Fresh Clean Threads.
Yeah.
Fusco 15.
Enter
you get
the
that
code.
15% off with that code. Fusco 15. Go do it. And Tony, great job as always.
Same to you, Paulie. Another flawless show.
There you go. We'll see you people next week.
See ya.